I know we're live on YouTube. Well, I'm getting there. I'm getting there. I did add a fucking category, you stupid thing. All right, bear with me. Just checking the stream. I want to make sure we're up everywhere. We've been having some issues lately. In the stream. Not to mention the technical difficulties that happened yesterday. That pretty much forced me on the air. I wasn't really able to continue. All right, and I want to make sure that sounds off. Okay, so hello everyone, welcome back to the Relief Valve Podcast. We ended up having issues yesterday, technical issues. I wasn't able to continue covering everything that we were dealing with, and there's a lot. I'm going to do the best I can. First, we're dealing with the Strait of Hormuz here, and you've had people talking about the situation here. It's really not that busy. Ships only certain ships that are Chinese or allied with Chinese are taking the risk to go through. The Iranians have started mining the area with smaller ships, and they're also firing from, Bandar Abbas here. They've started firing on ships that attempt to go through the area. Trump at one point had said that he was going to try and protect ships going through the area. He was going to use the U.S. Navy to do so. That is not the case. Some people got kind of got hopeful that was going to happen. I think the U.S. Navy is worried about the protection of not only the civilian ships but their own ships while trying to navigate a smaller area where you're putting yourself in point blank range of their launchers and Bandar Abbas. So let's look at some of the information and what we're dealing with. Some more cargo ships and tankers have been hit in the strait by Iranian forces.
New images near the Strait of Hormuz off Iran where new attack.
Not again. I don't know what's going on. I don't know. It's just because I'm multicasting to multiple places.
Attacks are now sending oil prices on another wild ride today. This is a Thai flagged ship, one of at least 3 vessels that have been struck today in that critical waterway. Thailand's Ministry of Transport says 20 crew members have been rescued. 3, though, remain unaccounted for. I'm going to show you a map of the approximate locations of these attacks on ships today in the Strait. From a reminder, some 20 million barrels of fuel a day move through this critical shipping route, and it is clearly effectively remains shut down because of this very real threat. Let's get right to Paula Hancock's live in Abu Dhabi for the latest on this. What are you hearing here?
Okay, we just heard from the UK Maritime Agency, and they say that As of now, they believe that about 13 vessels have been impacted since this war started. Now, you mentioned that Thai-flagged ship. We have some more information on that as well from authorities. They said that there was an explosion at the stern and then a fire broke out in the engine room. Now, this is believed to be where those 3 missing sailors were on duty at the time. So 20 rescued by the Omani Navy. We know that the captain told the crew to evacuate. They got in lifeboats and were then saved, but 3 still missing at this point. So it is a great concern that Iran appears to be ratcheting up these attacks on vessels in the Strait of Hormuz and in these very critical waters. Now, one of the vessels, we understand, was a cargo vessel, so we're not just talking about the restrictions of oil getting to where it needs to here. There's a lot more that there are concerns of. Now, a quick look at what else has been happening since Iran has said that it's going to have its most intense and heaviest operation. We do appear to be seeing a fairly consistent retaliation across the Gulf nations. Here in the UAE, we have been hearing a number of different waves of interceptions. Dubai Airport, there were 2 drones that hit nearby. We understand that 4 people have been injured there, authorities saying in the vicinity of Dubai Airport that fell. Flights have started to take off again now, though. We also know that in Bahrain, in Kuwait, in Saudi Arabia, they have also seen interceptions and alerts over the past 24 hours. And Iran has also expanded, if you like, its target list. We are hearing from Iranian officials through state media that they say now offices and assets of major American tech companies with operations in the region would be considered a legitimate target. Now, clearly, there are many in this Gulf region. We also had an interesting quote I want to bring to you from the Qatari Foreign Ministry spokesperson saying that from day one they had warned that this could be the potential fallout of any military action in Iran. He said, quote, "This is the biggest I told you so in the history of I told you so's in the world." Clearly, there is frustration and anger among leaders in this region. Kate?
Very clearly. Paula Hancock, thank you so much, Paula, for bringing us all of those new headlines. I really appreciate it.
The geography is extremely well known and understood. And perhaps because of that, the risks currently being faced are so severe. Take, for example, Maersk Shipping, which has got at least 10 ships that it says stranded in the northern part of the Strait of Hormuz, and many more on the outside that it can't get in or out because obviously the waterway is so difficult. In addition, using
I'm telling you
through into the Red Sea because of the possibilities of the Houthis and the risks around
This is
Yemen.
what he's talking
As
about,
a result,
stranded
something
freighters.
Like
No
Maersk
one's
is saying the
taking
current
the risk.
situation is absolutely uncharted and unprecedented.
Some of the
Charted
on which
and
global
unprecedented.
trade,
Which is what my
rely
boyfriend
on
said to
are
me
actually being
last
affected,
night.
Are being closed by the situation right now. It's true from Jebel Ali. It's true for Abu Dhabi. It's true for a few of those hubs, and this is going to create ripple effect, I think, for a while, as we need to see how this is going to sort itself out. In the short run, we can manage this, but if this was to endure, this would create, I think, serious congestions and serious issues across the global supply chain.
What happens next is anybody's guess. The very idea that this area is being mined by the Iranians, or indeed that the US is going in and starting to attack those various rubber dinghies and ships that's doing the mines, it's simply unheard of, and frankly, we don't know how it will develop. The only thing we can say with any degree of certainty is that as long as that waterway remains closed, then the price of oil just
As I've indicated
rising.
on my screen.
Press CNN London.
With
London.
us now, senior national security analyst Beth Sanders.
I'm
with us,
not
senior
a
military analyst,
homosexual,
retired Colonel
despite
Sarah
the
Sanders.
allegations.
I just want to start with the latest news from what we've been seeing inside the Strait of Hormuz. This is one of the cargo vessels that's been hit. This is a new image we're getting in.
Yeah.
You can see the smoke coming out of that. It is one of 3 vessels hit, 1, 2, 3 over the last 12 hours or so. So what does this tell you? If the Iranians are doing this to ships in this key shipping lane, what does it tell you about what they're capable of and what their plans are?
So what we're seeing now, so we started off with this idea yesterday that they were going to start putting mines in. And I think that we have to understand here that mines are part of a system, right? So it's mines, drones, rockets, missiles, right? And so in this very small area, and the only place that you can pass here is really only 2 miles, not 20 miles. And so when you have this much concentration, what the Iranians are telling us is like, we're in, right? This is now, they have made a decision that they are shutting their own access here by laying these mines. They're shutting themselves in, essentially, and it's worth it for them. So they're all in now.
One of the things that been saying in the papers this morning is the Iranians are showing they have a vote in all of this. And just to give you one more sense of what this is, them shutting down the waterway, you can see ships here on one end of the strait, ships here on one end of the strait. But by and large, this area here, this most narrow area, 20 miles wide, but the shipping lane itself really just 2 miles, that all but empty. Cedric, I want to go to you with one other development overnight. This is inside Iraq. Right inside Iraq, a key U.S. diplomatic support center was struck overnight. I'll put it was right here. You can see it right here. What, again, does that tell you about what the Iranians have in mind and what they're still capable of?
Yeah, so John, good morning. What they're doing is they're actually looking at all the different important target sets. They've had a real opportunity to, in essence, case all these targets. They know exactly where our diplomatic facilities are. They know where some of our CIA facilities are. They know where our military facilities are. And the reason they're doing this is their way asymmetrically of going after us. On the one hand, we measure things like number of aircraft taken out. We measure things like number of vessels taken out and how many we've put to the bottom of the Persian Gulf. That's all great. But the problem is the Iranians are fighting with other means. And as Beth was pointing out, they are using things like drones, missiles, and mines to take that asymmetric effort forward. And in some cases, they have an asymmetric advantage. And so going after, areas like logistics centers like they did in Kuwait, going after Prince Sultan Air Base in Saudi Arabia, and going after that diplomatic support center in Baghdad is exactly part of the Iranian playbook.
And as they try to show, go ahead, Beth.
Yeah, so what I want to add to that, and I think, Cedric, you can jump in and disagree if I'm wrong here, but I mean, it's very, very likely that this was done by Iranian-backed militias that are Iraqis, right? We have not seen them join the fight. We have Hezbollah committing suicide in Lebanon, literally because, Israel is beating the crap out of them. And now we have Iraq joining in. Are we going to have Yemen join in? Are we going to have the Houthis join into this fight, which would, move us to the Red Sea? They haven't done that yet because it's not exactly in their interest right now to draw fire. They're kind of on their back heels right now domestically. But this is, again, an expansion of the war that we were kind of waiting for. It hasn't happened, but maybe this is it.
Cedric, when we go back to the straits, go ahead, Cedric. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
Some of this video from like their bat boats. I got to show some of that afterwards.
The
U.S. hitting their ships.
We need to look at the possibility that the Houthis will get involved at some point in time, and that would then mean that 2 different choke points. The Persian Gulf choke point, at the Strait of Hormuz, and the Bab el-Mandeb, who, as the Red Sea empties into the Indian Ocean. That is the kind of area that we actually could see some efforts, and that is something where the proxies, just like Beth said in Iraq, the proxies are going to play a role in this, and this is definitely an expansion of the effort, and the Iranians are controlling that narrative along with their proxies, of course.
Yeah, just so you can see what we're talking about regionally, this is the Strait of Hormuz. This would be the Red Sea right here. The Houthis operating right here, perhaps shutting down some of the shipping in and out of that region. One other thing, we were talking about the mines, right? The idea, CNN was reporting that that Iran may be laying mines in the Red Sea. Then CENTCOM, in the Strait of Hormuz. Then CENTCOM released this video. So they say is of U.S. warplanes and missiles
and some of those smaller ones being used as mine layers.
Ships.
Being destroyed as well.
To disable them? We think the Iranians have 5,000 mines that they could use. Would this be enough to stop efforts to mine the straits?
I mean, it's obviously it helps, but we're talking about 1,000-mile coastline, and we're talking about a capacity of Iran to use all manner of ships, dhows, things that look like fishing ships. Yeah, you can't do that at scale, but you can certainly throw one or two over the back of the boat, and no one will know that.
So their navy has been sunk, and you're wondering, how are they dropping mines? How are they taking this action? And they're using smaller vessels. They're using, go-fast boats. Or they're using very small fishing vessels. They're using very small little mine layers, almost like PT patrol boats. So they don't have a navy anymore, but they are using these boats. They are harder to target because they're smaller and faster moving. So they can be successful with this, and it's meant to be done on purpose. It's meant to put more pressure on the United States to end this and come to an agreement and get out of this sooner, affect the world's economy, affect oil, and start getting the other countries to pressure the United States to stop this attack on them. They're losing, so they're pulling out every measure that they possibly can in order to try and do something. I don't know if this particular one, they're going to show the ship actually getting hit. Curious about it. You're just going to show ships. Okay, well, it's going to show maybe they're hitting some damage here, either at some stills, maybe. Yeah. So that was a Thai ship that was hit. Some of them have been turning the transponders off. They're trying to sneak through. But the Iranians still have equipment on the land that can still scan the waterway, despite the fact that you've turned your transponder off, and it can still find ships in the water. Never mind getting them visually, too, if you have a smaller boat that's going around in the area as well. So now you've got the Strait of Hormuz not really being used, and you've run into more problems for shipping in the area. So now let's go on to something else here, because for yesterday's show that I didn't get to with the leader Mojtaba Khamenei is supposedly, I've said he's dead. For all intents and purposes, he is. Some other reports are saying he's in critical condition. He had a leg amputated. He lost a leg in an Israeli airstrike. He's in a coma, and he's critical. And for all intents and purposes, he's dead. So once again, they're going to be looking for another Ayatollah of rock and roll.
News, which we are trying to verify through other reports here, that apparently the brand new leader of Iran may well have been injured in a attack. Now, let me just read directly here. There are international sources we're double checking here. The Daily Telegraph is reporting as we speak on their website that Iran's newly appointed supreme leader has been injured in strikes, according to Iranian state media. That he apparently had been wounded in what they are referring to as the Ramadan War. He's described as an injured war veteran right now. Israeli security officials
guy hasn't fought a day in his life.
Believe that he was wounded, but still alive after targeting in an airstrike. This is according to the reporting that is on the Times of Israel website. So that is a report. We will try to stand it up and give you more information about it before we go off the air, but no doubt more in a moment, of course, in the late debate. Now featuring our mate Danica DiGiorgio. Congratulations and welcome to Primetime to Danica and joining the...
So there you go. He was injured. We don't have to hear more about that, mate. Of course, the Iranians in Iran are the pro regime. Were very upset. Listen to the vibes, man. Chill with the vibes, bro. This fucking guy's really upset. Wonder if those women really believe it or they're being forced to so they're not stoned to death. I'd be curious to know. Yab dabba da, yabba dabba dabba doo da. All right, so there you go. There's the poor idiots that are. Now you had the bombing attempt in New York. This was just crazy. So Jake Lang, who's running into some other problems of his own at this point, was doing an anti-Muslim rally, pro-America anti-Muslim rally. These two younger kids show up and throw homemade bombs at the crowd, including the lefty retards that were anti-protesting against Jake Long. This was some of the turnout from this.
Tonight, the FBI and NYPD investigating a bomb
That's the two
thrown
guys.
outside the New York City mayor's home as a potential act of terrorism. Police say it happened during dueling protests outside Gracie Mansion Saturday while Mayor Zoran Mamdani and his wife were home. The FBI says two men, identified as Ibrahim Qayyumi and Amir Balat, are now in federal custody after being arrested at the scene. Two people familiar with the matter telling NBC News both men allegedly made pro-ISIS statements during their arrest. Earlier today, the NYPD bomb squad finding a suspicious container inside a car near the scene and will be taking it for testing, according to a source familiar. And a separate person briefed on the investigation says the container found in the car, believed to be used by the suspects, is concerning to investigators. Police recovering two devices after the protests.
So they didn't go off.
It was a homemade bomb that could have caused serious injury or death.
The devices, which were a bit smaller than a football, appear to be a jar wrapped in black tape, importantly with nuts, bolts, and screws, along with a hobby fuse.
Police say the suspects were part of a counter-protest against anti-Islam demonstrators led by conservative influencer Jake Lang.
There was a lot of yelling back and forth, and then it just kind of erupted into a fight.
Today, Mayor Mamdani issuing a statement saying violence at a protest is never acceptable. The attempt to use an explosive device and hurt others is not only criminal, it is reprehensible and the antithesis of who we are.
Valerie's joining us now from Manhattan's Upper East Side, where that car with what was described as a suspicious container was searched. And Valerie, looks like there's obviously still a lot of activity there.
Yeah, Hallie, tonight police still have this area blocked off after they say they temporarily evacuated some residents while they removed that suspicious device. Sources.
So it was a couple of rich kids. I posted some information about it online. We can get to it later on here. They live in a very large home in a nice area. They're just spoiled brats that decided to become terrorists in their free time and have some problems with some people. Jake Long himself is having some issues of his own, as now he's having allegations that he had inappropriate conversations and an intent to meet with a female minor. So he's got a whole nother thing going on. I don't know, but and we'll get to a little bit of that. I have to remind myself about some things and extra information I found. I post a whole bunch of stuff on my X page, and then and so I can reference it later, because there's just too much to write down or keep in my head. So now one of the other big things that's happened is the Iranian women's soccer team. Now, apparently they refused to participate in the Iranian national anthem. They kind of spoken out against the country a little bit. So Iran was telling them that they were going to be forced to come home and face discipline for their actions. Now some of them have been granted asylum in Australia. President Trump was trying to get them asylum, trying to get a flight from, for the United States. And Australia ended up helping them out a little bit. But here's a little bit of that story.
Story we brought you yesterday, Australia granting asylum to 5 Iranian women's soccer players. So the team was thrust into the spotlight during a tournament in Australia where players refused to sing the Iranian national anthem.
National anthem of Islamic Republic of Iran.
There are tens and tens of people here to watch this game. It was brave of them because
that act of defiance prompted threats from the Iranian regime, state TV labeling the players traitors. Then, after the team's elimination from the tournament, fans tried to block their bus from leaving, fearing the punishment that awaited them at home. President Trump called on Australia to grant the team asylum. Australia extended the offer, and 5 players accepted it. Here's the Prime Minister.
We're willing to provide assistance to other women in the team, noting that this is a very delicate situation and it is up to them. But we say to them, if you want our help, help is here.
We have a shrimp on the barbie for you.
Pashai is a world champion wrestler from Iran and the executive director of HIWA, or HIWA. First, Sardar, could you just tell people your story? You're a wrestler, and you know what the Iranian regime does to athletes that it wants to punish.
Hi, Dana. Thanks for having me. Yes, I was a world wrestling champion. And,
I'll be right back, folks.
I got banned from competing internationally and leaving the country just because of my political background, because my dad was a prisoner, and this is the price, you pay when you stand against the regime. I have to leave the country, come here and became a proud citizen, and then because the Iranian regime took away wrestling from me, so I decided to wrestle with the injustice of the Iranian regime. I started a campaign to ban Iranian regime presence in all international games. So those who chanted death to America, burning American flag, and coming to the United States in the name of head of federation or athlete, they just did not deserve to be in this country. And I was successful to ban some of them, members of Revolutionary Guard members, alongside the team who wanted to come to the United States.
And just a quick word, too, about the regime also targeted your family.
Yes, they went after my family. My sister got arrested, and also my younger brother, Salman. He's a world medalist wrestler. They tortured him for months that he could not sit for 21 days. Yet interrogators were torturing him, questioning him while he was laying back on his cell to send you this message that whoever stand against the Ayatollah, this is the price that they pay. But now we see Ayatollah is dead, we're still alive, fighting for a future democracy.
So yesterday morning during our program, President Trump put this on Truth Social. He said, I just spoke to the Prime Minister of Australia concerning the Iranian national women's soccer team. He's on it. 5 have already been taken care of, and the rest are on their way. I won't read the rest of the statement just in the sake of time, but basically the president put pressure on the Australians. The Australians apparently were already thinking about this, and 5 of the players said, yes, they will stay. I know that has to be a wrenching decision. How do you process it?
It's a very difficult decision, Dana, because either you stay or you go back home. This is not easy because you still have your family there, and the Iranian regime has a long history of taking your family as a hostage. But I'm proud of this 5 athletes who decided to stay, and also for almost half a century, they want to picture or paint that saying that Iranian people are the one who chant death to America. But the younger generation always changed this game. You saw those brave athletes. They refused to sing the national anthem, but it broke my heart when they were forced again to give a military.
So some of the other was the IRGC agents ended up kind of gathering the girls up initially before they were able to escape and then receive asylum. Iranian either soldiers or officials, whatever it was, had actually segregated them from everyone else and kind of locked them in their apartment or the place that they were staying and were holding them there. And some of the girls ended up being able to escape and ask for asylum. So the other girls, I guess, voluntarily decided to go home, or I don't think they were forced. I think they might have voluntarily returned. Last week, the Iranian soccer team refused to sing the national anthem before their Asian Women's Cup opener on the Gold Coast. It was a silent protest in solidarity with thousands killed in deadly crackdowns in Iran. But some of the athletes could be facing the death penalty should they return home after being labeled war traitors on Iranian state television. Late on Monday, news broke that 5 players have been granted asylum in Australia and are now safe with police. So how did it get to this, and what may happen next, and what about the rest of the team? So here they are with the Australian Prime Minister, or at least their officials, and they're signing the asylum papers. So good for them. Last night I was able to tell, this is Tony Burke, last night I was able to tell 5 women for the Iranian soccer team that they are welcome to stay in Australia to be safe and have a home here. Sport and soccer in particular carries enormous political weight in Iran. Athletes are symbols of the nation's endurance. Their victories are political capital, while their silence is viewed as a threat. It's perhaps no surprise then that the players' refusal to sing the national anthem sparked fury with regime hardliners day after U.S.-Israel strikes on the country. Radical conservative television presenter Mohammad Reza Shahbazi, who is considered a mouthpiece for the Iranian government, characterized the women's team as wartime traitors for not singing the national anthem and calling for reprisals. The team subsequently sang and saluted the anthem at their next 2 matches, but the pressure on them did not abate. If some of the members of the team return home, they may be charged for a crime that attracts a death penalty in wartime. For those who stay in Australia, it's likely their family safety will be threatened. That's Iran's MO. On Sunday, after Iran's 3rd and final match of the tournament, supporters protested around the team's bus, leaving the stadium, expressing their fear for the team's safety. Supporters surround the bus reported noticing at least one player making the hand gesture signaling for help, SOS, from the bus window. Here's a little bit of that clip. It's going to save our girls. This was before they were granted asylum. So they were on the bus, they're leaving, they're with the IRGC representatives who are going to basically lock them up, and these people are trying to block the bus, get in the way, save the women. As the situation escalated on Monday, U.S. President Donald Trump implored Australia to give the athletes asylum. He initially claimed the athletes were being forced to leave Australia, but later posted he's on it after discussing the issue with Prime Minister Anthony Albanese. On Tuesday morning, Home Affairs Minister Tony Burke confirmed 5 Iranian athletes have been granted humanitarian visas to stay in Australia after escaping the squad's security detail. Burke said the Australian government was keeping the door open for other athletes to claim asylum as well. You know, and you would think that the left which are supposed to be the guardians of LGBTQ and women's rights and all of this other shit, you think that they would be all over this and they would be so thankful and they'd be speaking out against it. Like, this person makes a good point here. Not a single word from the likes of Mark Ruffalo, another whining fag, Angelina Jolie, or Gary Lineker about the Iranian football players who were forced to leave Australia and return to Iran, where they could face severe punishment or even death. These clowns want you to think they're all about humanity and decency, and they're not. They're only concerned with whatever popular narrative happens to be, and it's always the one that appeases the Islamic extremists and targets Trump. And he's not wrong about that. So kudos to those women that stuck up for their rights and themselves, and they asked for asylum, and hopefully they can live a better life, and hopefully their families will be safe in Iran as well, because the Iranian regime has already said that if they can't get to you, they will target anyone of your family or anyone that they can get to within Iran. So if they've got family that's still there, now they're in danger too for their actions. An extremely difficult decision to be made. So in other stuff here, the main data center of the Bank of Safa, Iran's largest bank, was attacked tonight. The bank pays the salaries of the regime forces. So that's interesting as well. Now, Goldie Harmari is an Iranian living in, I believe, Canada now, and she's very outspoken against Iran. I think her parents fled the revolution in 1979, and I don't know if she was born there or maybe she's here. I don't have enough of her background. But she's been putting up, she does a great show too. She's following the Iranian Revolution. She put up information here saying that on March 11th, U.S. Central Command, CENTCOM, is issuing a warning to civilians that the Iranian regime is using civilian ports along the Strait of Hormuz to conduct military operations to threaten international shipping. This dangerous action risks the lives of innocent people. Civilian ports used for military purposes lose protected status and become legitimate military targets under international law. CENTCOM urges civilians in Iran to immediately avoid all port facilities where Iranian naval forces are operating. Iranian dock workers, administrative personnel, and commercial vessel crews should avoid Iranian naval vessels and military equipment. Iranian naval forces have positioned military vessels and equipment within civilian ports serving commercial maritime traffic. So they're taking over regular civilian ports as well. Although the U.S. military also cannot guarantee civilian safety in or near these facilities used by the Iranian regime for military purposes, American forces will continue taking every feasible precaution to minimize harm to civilians. So she's putting that warning out there as well. This is some of my posts. A fucking crazy Candace Owens. I can't stand that bitch. This was them being the girls chased through the hallways. Fucking Australian Karen. You're in Australia now, mate. Crikey.
I know who you are. Get down the stairs, yes.
I know who you are. I've seen your face, bloke.
What cowards are you guys running?
But they were following them and trying to protect the women and expose.
Cowards.
Yeah, cowards. Yeah, you are. Now you think about what you've done. New launches, new attacks on. I haven't watched this whole video.
Let's do it, Chewie.
Oh, America coming to take out the rest of Iran's fleet. Oh boy, I love it. So this is one of the newest strikes here today. Local Iranian journalists claim the U.S. Air Force has targeted underground sites in the Quds, central Iran, using the GBU-43B, mother of all bombs. The strike reportedly hit what appears to be an underground missile storage facility, and it looks like a fucking nuke hit it. Look at this strike. Wow. Now, aside from this, I've been monitoring. I've got the Zofar red alert thing up. Not seeing any missile launches and attacks on Israel currently. The cams aren't showing anything currently. So I've got the cams right here and here, and then also the Zofar alert. So we've got no alerts in Israel currently. We've got nothing on the cams currently, monitoring multiple areas. So it's Iran is not getting a lot of launches today, it seems like, at least not right now. It's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, because they're about 5 hours ahead of us. It's about 7 p.m. Usually the attacks start a little later. This is that guy I was telling you about, the figurehead for the Iranian regime. He's talking about murdering all anti-regime Iranians inside and outside the country. Confiscating property isn't enough. Will make your mothers mourn you, is what they're saying. This is what the left defends. So this is Goldie again saying, thanks to Elon Musk and Starlink, some Iranians are able to share videos with the outside world. So Iran has cut off internet in Iran so that people can't use it, but some are using a Starlink, Elon Musk Starlink, or and VPNs in order to change their IP and get information out there. Waiting on more information here. A van has rammed into the White House barricade and the driver has been apprehended by U.S. Secret Service. That's something that happened. Here's some video of that the Americans declassified of military strikes on Iranian vehicles and military stuff. Boom shakalaka. So we'll see what's going to happen to Tucker Carlson skating with the cardboard cutout of the Ayatollah. I don't know what the fuck's happened to Tucker Carlson. He's lost his goddamn mind. This was Goldie also saying there's more evidence of mass defections in occupied Iran. So a Basij member records himself abandoning his post, saying the Islamic Republic is finished. This is the Basij barracks, which until recently was a school. Everyone is left and is leaving. I'm going home too. It seems to me that the regime's work is finished and we should surrender. I just hope that the people don't take revenge on us. So, you know, apparently this is legit video, and they're some of them are just they're giving up. They're going home. They're done. They're not going to serve the regime anymore. Yeah, she was saying they've also threatened us with a death penalty. Anyone that's not supporting Iran and is speaking out against them and are of Iranian descent, you know, they're gonna come after you. Well, I'm not following Grok. So, you know, we'll see how everything turns out. That's everything that I have for you today. The everything appears to be quiet. There's no launches from Iran currently. The strike map is clear. Nothing's coming up. So in the next couple of days, I will try to get you guys more updates on everything that's going on. Please like, share, support the show, subscribe. And I appreciate all the new followers we're getting and the support we're getting, you know, online and on various locations as well. YouTube, Rumble, and X. Well, after I spoke, here come the missile launches. Holy smoke.
Alarm. Beitar Elite. Kiryat Malachi. Jerusalem Center.
Jerusalem.
Bet Shemesh. Jerusalem South. Mevaseret Zion.
Good timing.
Jerusalem
just as
East.
I was about to sign off.
Abu Ghosh. Jerusalem North. Jerusalem West. Bet Ezra. Givati. Ezer. Emunim. Sede Uziyah. Ad Halom Industrial Zone. Ashdod. Chet. Tet. Yud. Yud Gimel. Yud Dalet. Tet Zayin. Shetulim. Gan Yavne. Ashdod. Gimel. Vav Zayin. Bitzaron. Gan Hadarom. Neve Miftach. Gedera. Kvutzat Yavne. Misgav Dov. Meshar, Kidron, Kerem B'Yavne, Givat, Washington.
So you get the warnings, and then in about 5 to 10 minutes, the travel time for the missiles.
Mazkeret Batya, Bet Elazari, Karmei Yosef, Ganei Yochanan, Pedaya, B'nai Darom Compound,
if the cameras catch them, interceptors and the missiles coming.
Kiryat Gat, Karmei Gat, Yad Natan, Nitzanim, Negba, Nitzan, B'nai Darom, Nir Galim, Benaya, Mevo Choron, Ben Zakai, Bet Gamliel, Kiryat Ekron, Kfar Bin Nun, Givat Brenner, Yatzitz, Petachia, Gan Shalomo, Kfar Bilu, Ramot Meir, Bet Uziel, Gezer.
Shut the fuck up. Okay. See, on this side over here on the left, I've got Tel Aviv, Beirut. Over here, we've got southern Lebanon, South Israel, Haifa. Haifa's been getting hit. Tel Aviv has been getting hit. We've got more Beirut. Whole bunch of warnings coming up here. What timing, huh? Now, a lot of them will get intercepted. on the way over. They're all over the place here. They're even... What do we got here? Outside of Jerusalem, and then we've got them on the north. More are clearing now. And they're turning blue. So maybe the... Hear the wind. I'm waiting to hear shots fired or something. Lebanon's been taking a whole bunch of hits. Haifa, Beirut. So 7 o'clock, 7:49 in Israel. And then I think Iran is about an hour ahead of them, so 8 o'clock in Israel. 7:49, 8:49 in Iran. The warning map is cleared now. It's possible they were able to intercept a fair amount of them before they even made it that far. It almost looks like smoke is coming from the Ben Gurion airport in Tel Aviv. Or that could just be clouds passing over. Someone was claiming they had seen a missile on the cam, but it was already burning while it was entering, so it was already damaged, so it was already been hit. I didn't see it. It almost looks like there's fire there in South Israel, but that could just be lights. That's the warnings for right now. I'm sure more are going to be coming, but they're also getting hammered today. Trump in the U.S. has said that they're going to be hitting them hard. As every day goes on, as they're attempting to mine the Strait of Hormuz, enough stuff, they're going to hit them even harder for their indiscretions. So I'm going to leave it to some of the pros to do this. Matt Morse and Lookner there that does the 6 to 8 hour fucking live streams. There's another warning. It's a confrontation line, so they could be the Dovev area. There could be shots fired here. The ground battle, and some more coming. But I'm going to leave it to the pros for that because I have to get ready for work and I'm going to have to move on. Hopefully I can do cover some more this weekend. All right, please like and subscribe to the show. Thanks everybody for the support. And I will see you all again for another series of updates. Thanks, everyone.